Welcome back. I'm MTG Joe, and today we're going to be playing some more budget blue-red or Izzet Wizards. So this is a deck that we tried out originally as part of our budget deck series, and it felt pretty strong, so we're going to take it through a couple more matches to see if it's the real deal. So we're playing in best of one. The deck itself features only 8 rares, which are in the land base. So you have 4 steam vents and 4 sulfur falls. Now you can play with Izzet guildgates or the tap lands. It will slow you down a bit in some cases where you do want to ensure that you hit lands on curve. The deck itself really kind of tops out at 3 mana at most, but you want to make sure they come into play untapped at all times. But in the pinch, you can start using the guild gates and slowly make your way there. The rest of the deck is kind of a mashup between a mono red aggro list, a mono blue list, and kind of like a tempo-y prowess build from older sets. So the deck itself has 4 Ghitu Lavarunner, which is a 1 mana 1/2 that if we have 2 instant or sorceries can become a 2/2 with haste. Opt is just an instant speed way for us to draw an extra card. Spell Pierce is a good disruption spell to stop either like a Planeswalker or removal or board wipes. Shock can be served both purposes, damage to the face or to get rid of troublesome creatures. Trickster in our deck allows us to hold up say like a Wizard's Retort or a Spell Pierce, and if the coast is clear, tap it in, or even just kind of move blockers out of the way for us to get damage in. Viashino Pyromancer is a 2 mana burn spell when it enters the battlefield that leaves a 2/1 body behind. And then we have Adeliz, the Cinder Wind. So this is a 3 mana 2/2 flying haste. And then whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, all our wizards, in our case every creature in our deck, will get +1/1 till end of turn. So if we could start chaining together some draw spells or burn spells, we can pump up the team quite aggressively. And then we play a couple of the Wizards Matters cards. So we have Wizard's Retort, which when we have a wizard out is a 2 mana unconditional counter spell. We have Wizard's Lightning, which is a 2 mana deal 3. So like a lightning bolt effect. And sorry, 1 mana. It reduces the mana by 2. And then we have Light Up the Stage, which I think is a very impactful card to this type of deck from previous standard sets. We have a lot of ways to deal incidental damage, and then we can refill our hand quite easily for 1 mana to keep going. Other cards you can consider are stuff like Gutter Snipe or a couple other creatures that deal Electrostatic Field. They tend to be a little bit slower. Gutter Snipe is 3 mana, doesn't do anything the turn it comes down, and dies to pretty much all the removal. But I like this list enough. We'll take it for a couple of games and we'll see how it goes. So we can probably take it through a constructed league. See how we do in that case. Play against a little bit more tiered decks. So as we get started, if you haven't done so already, if you want to show your support to the channel, clicking the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. It costs you nothing, and it's a great way to help support the channel and to help me continue to build out and get more videos out to you. So this hand's not too bad. Would have liked the 1-drop, but we can land, hold up Trickster, and then either Wizard's Retort or get aggressive with Adeliz and then have some removal. So we have some options. Like I said, we'd like to have either a disruption spell or an early 1-drop. Tap land's not terrible here. Okay. So Conclave Guildmage. This might be some sort of Enchantress build. So here I'm just going to tap down to keep our life total high. So I'm actually going to get rid of the enchanter, want to keep them off card draw. And then if they try to drop an enchantment next turn, then we can spell pierce it. And then next turn we can Adeliz with Wizard's Lightning to pump up the Trickster to get through additional damage. Or at least to, if they try to chump, we can pump it up. So here, rewarded for having the spell pierce, slows them down. If they attack, it's a little aggressive. Another Wizard's Lightning is good there. So we'll see if they block here. So they don't block. They're still 1 mana off from the other ability, so we'll hold off the lightning and just use it to control the board. So they have Wilderness Reclamation. I'm just going to kill this now before they're able to use its ability to create a creature. So here I'm going to opt to pump up the team in case we draw a sorcery. Play another opt. Don't want the land. Play Wizard's Lightning. Play Light Up the Stage. And then here you can see how we're able to chain together a lot of these effects. So if they don't have removal, they're dead. So just cycling through these cheap cards, you're able to deal a lot of damage fairly quickly. So 1 win down, we'll see how well we can put through this deck. Let me know as well if there's any other budget decks you're interested in, whether it be build-around themes, particular colors. Kind of played a few variations. So I actually don't like this hand that much. We have a lot of spells that don't get the reduction right now, and just a shock. Sounds a bit better. No need more mountains, we need more blue sources. We're going to lead on the blue here just in case we draw another blue source. If not, we could Viashino Pyromancer. Okay, so this could be mono blue, or it can be Drakes. Okay, so this is Drakes. Here I'm going to offer the trade. Even if they want to burn like a dive down to get the block in, I'm fine with them wasting it here as opposed to protection spell. So we'll shock in here. If they go to attacks, we can Trickster. So this, you Trickster, and now you can block and kill it. Not enough instants and sorceries right now. So here, I'm gonna Trickster now so we can get in the damage to cast Light Up the Stage. Awesome, so this turn we'll just play Ghitu Lavarunner. We have the shock for next turn that if they block any of our creatures we can shock them. The Drake out of the air. And then we can also Pyromancer to get in some more chip damage. Adeliz off the top would be really good as well. Make all our creatures 3 toughness or 3 power. They burn a lava coil here. Perfect. So we'll attack with everything here. We'll shock. And then that keeps it alive as well, kills the Drake. So we lose the Pyromancer here, but we're able to kill the Drake and pump in extra damage. That's perfect. So we're going to run the exact same attacks we did last time. So even if they just bring out one threat this turn in either Enigma Drake or Crackling Drake, they won't have enough to block the other two creatures. And it looks like they're just digging for anything right now. And it's another win, this time against Drakes, which is a strong deck. Get our rewards for the day. I've liked this deck the most out of any of the budget ones. Like, I know the kind of go-to is to say play mono blue if you're on a budget, but the deck isn't for everyone. It's a little boring to play, to be honest. It's kind of tempo-y. This one's got a little bit more interesting play. You can be a little bit more aggressive. We'll keep this hand. We'll lead off on the island, and then we have the option to Spell Pierce or opt. We'll likely just opt. And then we can shock in for the Trickster. This looks like mono red. Even better, we don't need to. So there's a consideration here, even if they try to... So here... We're going to let this resolve, because we want to try to catch up and light up this stage. Yeah. So now they're down to 3 cards already. And we can catch the Lavamancer. So when we Trickster here, what it'll do is it'll shut off its ability, so it actually becomes 1 power. And then we can block and kill it here. Then here, what I'm going to do is Wizards Lightning here. We do have to make the decision if we want to try to light up the stage now or when we have Adeliz out. I think what we'll do is just play the Steam Vents tapped. We are playing against mono red, so we want to keep our life total at a reasonable level. So they have Pyromancer here, that's fine. So we're going to hang on to the opt. Similar to the last game, we're going to use it when they try to block. Okay, so they just hit lands off to light up the stage. So here we'll play out the Adeliz. Attacking with both. They'll offer the trade, and we'll opt to pump it up. Second Adeliz I don't think we want right now. So risk factor, we take the damage here. So we'll play the Lavarunner out. I'm actually going to just main phase light up the stage because it gets 3 more damage in. Play out the island and then just attack in with everything. So this means if they only have the 1 creature, we threaten lethal. Another win. This deck's been pretty legitimate. Now, if you were to play in, like, say, a constructed event with a sideboard, we'd probably put in some electrostatic fields against, like, aggressive decks. I'd probably play a couple Murmuring Mystics, then some Disdainful Strokes, some Negates. I'm gonna mulligan this hand. Do we... Let's try it out. I think it is wrong without like an actual creature threat, otherwise we just have disruption. So this is the reason why you lead on the mountain, you always kill the elf. So this slows them down. It's fine, they can keep the branch walker there. So this is Sultai. 2 power is not significant enough. So that's actually pretty good because we can Lavarunner here and then hold up the Wizard's Retort for their next spell. Counter that. No, thank you. So now we're going to start applying some pressure. Like burning the shock here makes it a little bit weaker to Wild Growth Walkers, but if they had one, if they didn't just draw it, they would have played it out already. Okay, it's important that the Jade Light stays at 2 toughness. We could still attack into it. So we're going to offer them the trade here. We'll come out with Viashino, and then we still have a Spell Pierce if they have like a Vivian or something. That would actually be the best if they try to jam that, because it takes them off an entire turn. It's probably the worst. That'll deal with both our creatures. Just gonna pass the turn here. So the reason we can tap it down, get in 2 points of damage, but if they try to jam like a Vivian or something, then it gets bad for us. I think we're falling a little too far behind now. No blocks. So we'll tap down the Branch Walker now. Okay, so we're getting close to lethal on them. We got 3 they're at a virtual 3 hostage taker. So let's see what they target. With the trigger and response, we'll kill it so it doesn't get exiled. Not exactly what I want to do, but I don't want him to be able to take our creature. Adeliz is pretty good here. So we're just going to attack in with her now. Okay, so Vrasco, kill Adeliz. Wizard's Retort doesn't do much here, so we'll just pass the turn. At least gets rid of Vivian. They'll uptick. Ah, they have the negate. It's weird that the Sultai version's playing negates main board.
Beasts are much more reliable than humans.
Yeah, so if we don't draw an Adeliz this turn, we're gonna concede.
The belligerent need her crew.
I think they're just gonna grind us out with value. Gives us a play. So here, let's see how they block. It's fine. We're doing this to see if they incorrectly hold back blockers.
My crew is the finest in the seas.
Like if they decide to
The
attack with
wilds
both
are my
these, we
shield.
can tap this down if they don't play another creature. That wild growth's pretty much dead for us. They get back. Yeah, they got it, because now they're going to play the wild growth, they'll play that, gets their life out of control, so too much damage. That hand was a little slow to begin with. The wild growth package is probably something hard for us to deal with. Naturally, having 3 toughness is hard, and then just gaining that much life. We don't have as much burn as like a burn deck, and with this version playing like the negates and the big Vraska, this hand's a keep. So this is guildgates. So this hand's actually pretty black in this version. You usually don't see that. So if this is a Gates Ablaze deck, which it likely is, so with drawing that, I'm actually purposefully not going to play out the Adeliz now. We don't want to play out our 2 threats and then immediately have Gates Ablazed. So here we're going to play the Sulfur Falls and end the turn. Kind of telegraphs that we do have a counter spell, but we'll play the Viashino next turn. Here we want to cut him off for their ramp. Curious as to what they're playing for the black. This might be the Lich's Mastery version. We're really trying to... Okay, so Rhythm of the Wilds. We're going to counter it because then it'll impact that we can't counter their creatures, which shuts off our other stuff. What do we have? Instants and sorceries. 2. So here we're going to play out the Viashino just for value. So next turn we can land. So we'll counter pretty much any creature or like meaningful card. Next turn untap Adeliz, Lavarunner, and Wizard's Lightning. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 lethal. So pretty much have this one wrapped up. They would need to have like double Gates Ablaze in this case. That's fine there. Should still be fine as well. So the Gate Colossus, I'm going to counter it. Okay, so Adeliz, Lavarunner, Wizard's Lightning, and 15 them in one turn. And that's how you control the board. So it's important there. There's a couple turns where we could have overextended, but it would have taken a lot of the pressure off the board. You really want to be disruptive against Gates. The early turns, they're really playing 1 spell a turn. So if you can get an early clock and then just disrupt their plays, it's really easy to take them down. It's once they get to that mid-game where they're able to play multiple spells or draw a lot of cards and then get the Gate Colossus out for free that you're in trouble as an aggro deck. This hand would have been better if we had like an op on 1. Opponent goes first, so we have a draw step, so we'll try it out. Like a blue spell, blue land on 1. Perfect. White seems like control anyways, so Yeah, so it's probably Esper. Search for Ascanta. Shows that it's a more controlling variation. So that's a good land to draw here. So we can... To optimize damage, we're going to go like this. That hits him for 5 on turn 2. Now if they hold up the mana as though they have Absorb, we're not going to play out... Okay, so this shows that they don't have Absorb. Might get us into Kaya's Wrath situations. I think we just do to light up the stage this turn. And then hold up Merfolk Trickster. Let's see if we can hit a Spell Pierce. We'll just end the turn here. They're at 3 cards in the graveyard. They do have the mana for Kaya's Wrath. So here, let's attack in. So I'm gonna just pay full mana for light up the stage. Spell Pierce is good here. They kind of know about it, so it loses a bit of its value. But if they want to... here... Let's make it so they can't play anything else this turn. They're going to take our Adeliz, which sucks. Okay, so Wizards Retorts. We got to play this now. But we could counter it to Fairy if they have one. They will flip a Scanta. Okay, so they kept the card, so it's got to be meaningful. It's perfect. Bye to Fairy. Adeliz, nah. So they've seen the land. The one thing this deck does somewhat lack is like continuous card draw. Maybe consider some risk factors in here or something just to pitch. So Moment of Cravings, nice for them. We're at the point of the game where they could search as much as they want. To find additional threats. It's odd they didn't search there. So I'm just going to pass the turn. We lose Wizard's Retort, which is unfortunate.
This isn't a fight you can win. Hold that thought.
This game's pretty much done. It's modern versus control. I know a lot of people hate playing against control, but it gets to a point where you know you've lost. Here, they're pretty much going to have an answer for whatever we play. We don't have any pressure. They're still at 17 life. So even we'd have to potentially burn 2 Wizards Lightning. Okay, so Lavarunner might give us a chance. And this is where, like, in a sideboard game, we'd bring in more cheap interaction. We'd have negates.
I won't let you win.
Don't think that does enough. We're just going to concede. They're too far ahead on this one. They're drawing effectively 3 cards a turn. They keep gating life off their removals, so... Still up to 4 wins, which was more than I was anticipating. If we could get to like 5, 6 wins, that would be really impressive with the deck. this is a keep. So we're going to Lavarunner on one, and then depending on what it looks like they're playing, we'll decide if we want to Viashino or if we want to hold up a combination of Spell Pierce and Shock. This looks like mono red. That's actually perfect. So there was a play where we kept back the Lavarunner. Depending on what they play out next. So we didn't play out the Viashino here. The reason being is we wanted to hold up the Spell Pierce. They could attack in, catch him on a light up the stage turn. We're just gonna shock here. Take the 1 damage. That's great. We can play out the Pyromancer. And then this way we don't have to take damage from our lands. Chain Whirler's rough here. I think we're a little too far behind in this one. Difficult thing here is if we pay 2 mana, it telegraphs we have a counter spell. It also takes us off to that. So they can take a turn off and not play a spell. But by us not doing it, they get to get down a threat. And then this being more creature build as opposed to more instant sorcery is actually worse for us. Yeah, we lost this one. So the decks looked really good in some games and are kind of a little wonky towards the end there. We'll try a couple like other variations. We'll try some risk factors in there as well, but overall pretty impressed with the deck. 4 and 3 in this, but we took down a couple decks pretty convincingly. Control might be a little difficult, but overall pleased. And for 8 rares, and really you can build it with strictly commons and uncommons, it was pretty solid overall. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you can, drop a comment if there's any budget lists you'd like to see. And if you can subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. Costs you nothing and goes a long way to helping the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great one.